Today we're cooking steaks, tender steaks, and we're tenderizing them in a not so traditional way. So stay tuned and find out. So the interesting thing about pineapple is there's a ton of enzymes in this alone to tenderize your steaks to no other. In fact, these are so good at tenderizing steaks that you should only recommend putting them in there for about 2 hours before they fall apart. So what we have is I have a couple T-bones here, and which they're going to be tender. Now these are from a cow that we had raised, that we had butchered. So the real test is to show you guys is these sirloins. Now everybody knows that sirloin is not really fatty meat, but it's not a real tough meat either. So if we can make these sirloins absolutely so tender, almost cut with a fork, that's gonna be a real test to see if this works or not. So let's get this pineapple cut up. There's actually a lot of benefits to using the peel or the rind, you want to call it, with pineapple for using a marinade. So let's just get this blended up now. These things are turn out so good, I'm telling you. Okay, all right. So what we did, get out of here, get that nasty thing out of here. Okay, so what I did is we have a sirloin in here, we have 2 T-bones in here. The reason why I'm not doing all of them is because I want to show you the difference between using a pineapple marinade to make them tender over a regular steak non-tenderized. So we're gonna be able to do a comparison. So this will be the controlled steaks, and these will be the tenderized marinade steaks. So let's get this poured on here. Bam, guys, that thing is almost disintegrated. Not sure if I like that too much. It's a good T-bone, but the sirloin down here, it looks like it softened up a lot. So can't wait to see what that tastes like, especially compared to this other sirloin. It's also tender though. Guys, there's nothing left of these steaks. I mean, they're so tender. Look at this T-bone right here. The best part of it disintegrated. The other part is pretty much falling apart as well. But yeah, and look at this other T-bone over here. It looks like the dog's been chewing on it. I mean, I don't know how these things are going to cook up or they're going to taste, but we'll get them a good season. We'll throw them on the grill and we'll find out. First, I like to use a good crushed sea salt to season steaks. Guys, don't ever use table salt with anodyne in it. It's just, ugh. You're going to ruin some steaks doing that. That's for sure. Next, we'll do some garlic powder. Can never go wrong with a good garlic powder. Absolutely amazing. And then next, we're going to put some pepper on this, because you can't have a steak without a little pepper. She said, mmm.
It's good.
It's good. It's good.
The salad is good too.
You taste pineapple at all?
I taste something, but it doesn't taste like specifically pineapple.
Just tastes sweet, kind of.
Yeah, like fruit juice or something like that.
It definitely gives it a little bit of different flavor.
I would definitely eat it over again. I mean,
Well, this part of the steak disintegrated. It was so tender.
it's bye-bye.
Yep. I had to eat it off the grill.
You just had to.
I had to eat it off the grill. Oh my god, this shit's horrible.
Then give it back.
What are you feeding me? I like a cup.
Thanks. It's from my daughter.
Yep. Nice pink cup, Mom. It is definitely, it's got like a mushy texture to it. Almost too tender.
Yeah?
And it almost don't taste like steak, it almost tastes like...
It doesn't taste like steak.
I mean, it's steak, but... It has a...
Distinctly not meat flavor.
It has a meat flavor.
No, it's sweet.
We're not eating Spam. But it's like... I don't know how to explain it. Almost like if you were eating bologna. The texture of bologna. I'm not sure if I like it.
It's definitely tender. No, that tasted. That was good.
Yeah.
That bite didn't taste sweet. That kind of.
Seems like the more you middle, the more into the middle of the steak you get.
It's really soft though. Like I like how the texture of it, chewing it.
If you don't like them, Dad, I'll eat them. My opinion, was it that good? Was it worth all the trouble? I don't think so. My wife really liked it. It did have a sweet flavor. It didn't quite taste like pineapple, but it did have a sweet flavor. But what I didn't like about it is it made it so tender that one, it ruined the good pieces of part of the real tender parts of the meat, just disintegrate them. Like that nice filet mignon section of a T-bone, it just disintegrated it. And do you hear that dog going nuts in there? Brody, shut up! And then with the rest of the steak, like with the sirloin, it gave it a real weird texture, guys. And it was like, I don't know, it's almost slimy. It was that tender. It kind of reminded me of the texture of like bologna, and it's really odd. I would say if I was to do this again, I probably wouldn't do 2 hours, and I'd probably do an hour. You take it out of the pineapple marinade tenderizer and you rinse it off really good, but I still got a little bit of flavor of a hint of something sweet in there. So I didn't really like that with my steaks, because I like my steaks with like a lot of pepper and a salt flavor to them. So I wasn't a big fan of that either. My opinion, would I probably do it again? I probably wouldn't do it again. This is not something that you would do to good steaks. And I'm not saying a sirloin or we weren't cooking good steaks. We're cooking great steaks. In fact, I think I ruined great steaks with doing this. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't be doing this to a filet mignon. I wouldn't do it to a T-bone ever again. And I definitely wouldn't do it to a ribeye, because what I've noticed, they took everything in the granule, like where the fat is and everything, it just disintegrated that fat, and it just separated everything. When I pulled those out of the fridge and rinsed them off, it was almost looked like I took a meat grinder or something like that, just skid the top of they were just falling apart. And I was like, oh man, these are gonna be really good, but they were gray. That's another thing I didn't like, is they were gray. So when I cut them open, I didn't cook them very long, and I cooked them to medium rare, but they were gray. Now they weren't gray like well done gray, because they still had a soft texture to them, so they weren't tough, but they were They look like all that pineapple just sucked the blood right out of them, which I think took a lot of flavor away. So all things said and done, I wouldn't recommend this. If you like real rare bloody steak, I probably wouldn't do this. And or I would recommend it if you didn't have teeth, because you could literally gum this steak. It was so tender. So did it do its job? Yes, it did its job. I think it over tenderized the steak, if that's possible, because it didn't feel like steak in your mouth. It felt like mush, if that makes sense. So hey, we'll try again next time. We'll try something different. I do know how to cook a mean steak, and that, well, it was good, but it wasn't that great. So hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, because every subscribe and every like helps. So help me out. Help me get my channel out there. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time on SunnySlope Homestead, guys. Thanks for watching.